He didn't use his thumb this time.
A little more careful. He's not a little more tentative this time around.
Bernard, we're at it again.
Yeah,
We got hijacked.
Well, hopefully not again. Hopefully we're on this time.
Just listen, it doesn't matter because you're scrappy and I'm
Yeah,
scrappy.
we're gonna make it happen.
You
no
know
matter
what? No, whatever they do to try to keep us down, we're gonna find a way to stay up.
Gonna battle through for sure.
We'll battle through.
Yeah.
We were talking before we were rudely interrupted via a poor internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about your campaign manager, Derek, and how you had one manager who didn't want you to talk about issues such as universal health care because you may have offended some donors.
Yes, he kept saying you can't talk about healthcare or public banking or anything too controversial because I would offend donors. And I tried to make it work like any relationship, but we finally had to break up.
Well, you're in the right place to offend.
I hope so. I hope so.
And before we get deep into it, you get to read the trigger alert.
The trigger alert. I don't know if I can do it as well as Syra did.
Syra killed it.
But she killed it. So loud, is it supposed to be loud?
Just put your own twist on it.
Okay. Trigger alert. This is a show that triggers people because you have entered the free think zone. If you are not willing to be exposed to other points of view, tune out now and don't read the comments. You have been warned.
Very good. All right. I like it.
Right.
I like it.
My own kind of flavor to it.
How would you describe your flavor?
I guess I come across as serious, but I like to, just because I'm not smiling doesn't mean I'm not having a good time. People say I have a dry sense of humor.
A dry sense of humor.
Yeah. It's really dry.
Kind of like a treasurer.
Kind of like a treasurer would have, kind of
like
little but,
show me the charts and the graphs.
Yeah, but I always try to be like when I joke around. I always try to be respectful. I don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings, but we need some humor in our world.
I mean, you got to laugh to keep from crying. There's so much going on in this world today. It's
every day. It just seems like there's bad news all the time.
I think there's a lot of good news, but for some reason the bad news overshadows all the good that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's intentional, to keep you distracted.
Keep you taking, we talk about the ads for prescription drugs, antidepressants and ibuprofen that are on during the TV news broadcasts. And a lot of people have speculated that that's not coincidental.
Well, I'll tell you what, your campaign manager did a great thing. He dropped off some literature. Derek Braun, he brought it.
He brought it, yeah.
Now, we're talking to as many candidates as possible. Let me tell you whose literature I have.
Who do you have?
Phil Wise.
Okay.
Lisa dropped off the literature. Syra Cow. Pow.
Pow. Row. Yeah.
Row. Syra killed it.
Yeah, she did.
She has her literature here.
Over there?
Yeah. And we've also we're building a wall full of literature. So we've got a bunch of people that came, but they didn't bring their literature.
I wonder why.
Well, you're in there.
This is the year. This is the year. You're going to remember 2018.
Okay, so let me tell you, Bernard, what we're going to have to do first is tell us how to pronounce your name properly.
Well, my first name, it's a family name. Long story there. Bernard, my family, what, I actually kind of prefer, some people, I like Bernie, but my family calls me Bernard. Like a British way. Bernard. That's what Salazar calls me. Bernard, like George Bernard Shaw.
Okay.
And then my little sister Claire, she would call me Bernard the Nerd. Even though I was way cooler, I'm setting the record straight here right now.
You've been called a nerd?
Claire, yeah, she's my bratty little sister. And then Douthit, it is Scotch-Irish, and it gets mispronounced all the time. But one way to remember it is, how are you going to put out that Republican fire? You're going to Douthit with you have a little lisp, I guess, but we don't want to
Douthit,
yeah.
Douthit.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's your moment. I want you to go ahead, look at the camera, introduce yourself, and tell everyone who you are, what you're running for, or just whatever you want these free thinkers to know.
All right. Well, I am Bernie Douthit, and I'm running for Colorado State Treasurer. And I'm running for treasurer because I want to see us live up to our values. I want to bring universal health care to Colorado and public banking to Colorado, and make sure that our state's finances are managed well. I have a background in finance and economics. I believe I'm the most qualified, experienced, and independent candidate running. And I also do not accept any corporate PAC money. And I think that all candidates should not accept corporate PAC money, but we're getting there. We're not getting there across the board yet. As treasurer, I want to do 4 things real quick.
Please.
I want to move our money out of Wells Fargo and anybody else that is doing predatory lending or is a bad actor like they are. The second thing is my mom and my fiance are both members of PARA. There's so many people that depend on PARA, our retirement system, but I think we can do a better job than we've done. And there's a great article in Westward last week written by David Sirota about it, about lots of stuff to talk about there. Third thing is public banking, and that's a thing I think that very exciting, something hopefully we'll spend a decent amount of time on today. I want to push for a public bank for the state of Colorado, and probably 2, one for the marijuana industry because they're going to need to be separate, and one with taking out our treasury dollars and putting them in a public bank. And then lastly, healthcare is an issue that's near and dear to my heart, and like I said, it's one of the reasons why I parted ways with my first campaign manager. I'm self-employed. I've gone without healthcare at times in my life. I know it seems like it affects everybody. Even if you have coverage, you got bills that are hundreds or thousands of dollars, and it is the most expensive. We have the most expensive system from a finance standpoint of any country in the world, and I just want to make sure as treasurer that we move forward on bringing those costs down and expanding coverage to everybody as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm telling you, Portia said that the sound is a little muffy. Everybody out there, are you getting good sound? How's the visual? We've got a lot of interesting waves happening up here today. Maybe it's all the construction.
Maybe so. But they're saying we're muffled?
Well, that's Portia. So if somebody's watching, let us know if you can. Oh, well, Natasha says she can hear.
She can hear.
Okay, so I think it's Jose said the sound is a little low, so maybe we both have to talk up a little.
Talk louder. Yeah.
Okay.
Be loud.
Jose said that you say that you've been in the community for a while, but he's been here 26 years and haven't heard of you.
I know. Somebody was saying that to me the other day. Yeah, I was actually born at the old Denver General back in 1966. And my family moved to Kansas, but I've been back in Denver since 96 and have live over in what some of us are now calling Old Airport, the Old Airport neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing a lot of stuff. From getting a grant for a playground at Ashley Elementary and to starting a fundraiser in Stapleton for a lot of the neighborhood schools to doing a bunch of stuff through the years.
Do you live in Stapleton?
I do.
You want to change that name?
Absolutely.
Why do you want to change Stapleton's name?
Because it's just bad. It's the guy that it was named after was a what do we call him, a fascist or a racist or a KKK member, right?
Maybe you can just wrap them all up, and I don't know the difference between them all.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Kind of he did some good things like buying Red Rocks, but overall, he got started because he was KKK. It needs to go. It just needs to go. And I also Greg Diggs is a dear friend of mine. I don't know if you know Greg.
Gregory Diggs.
Yeah.
Dr. Diggs.
Yeah, he and I got to be real good friends.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing we could do better to honor his legacy and memory than to continue the fight and get the name changed.
Well, I'll tell you, if you win, you may be working with his grandson who's running for governor.
Oh, Walker Stapleton. Yeah.
How are you two going to get along? Or listen, is the reflection of the grandfather, does it cast a cloud over the grandson?
I think, Walker's disavowed everything that his grandfather was about. And so, it's, there are other reasons not to like the guy, I think. But
said there's some current reasons not to like him?
Yeah, there are plenty of reasons not to like the guy.
Like what?
Well, he campaigned against our single payer initiative here in 2016, Colorado Care. That was really what got me started. Actually, I should have mentioned that I campaigned for that Amendment 69, was a single payer initiative we were trying to get passed, and he went out and basically misled voters for most of the year, he'd always talk about this is a $25 billion tax increase, but he left out the part where it was going to save us $30 billion.
So you don't like him?
I mean, personally, I haven't met him. He seems like a nice enough guy, but his politics, no, I don't like his politics.
Now that's the distinction I think that we need to really start wrapping our minds and hearts around, that we can dislike a person's position and their politics, but we can distance that oftentimes from the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You don't like his politics?
Don't like his politics.
You like his party? He's a Republican.
Do not like the party.
What's the difference between, what party are you a part of?
I am a Democrat. I'm a member of the Democratic Party.
Okay.
And what Cyrus would say, I went true blue Democrat. Okay. Moving in the true blue direction.
Cyrus said, yeah, from blue to true blue.
True blue.
What's the difference between the Democrats, the old Democrats, and the current Republicans?
The old Democrats, or the establishment Dems?
Yeah, that's a good term. The establishment Dems. What's the difference?
Well, you're making me think of that Noam Chomsky quote. I don't know, not everybody thinks of Noam Chomsky, but he said we have one party, the business party, is what he said. There's one party, it's called the business party, and they differ on, I think that the establishment Dems differ on things like gun control and reproductive rights, and maybe a few other things like children, funding Medicaid children's health program, but there's a lot of overlap as I see it between the two.
Liz says thanks for the rename Stapleton, and she's shouting you out. That's a good move. Absolutely.
There's no reason. Greg said to me, and I was almost in tears when he said this. He said, if we cannot do the easy things like changing the names of places, how are we going to get the hard things done?
Wow. There was a Stapleton Foundation out there.
Yep.
And I've got their new business card. Guess what it's called?
The Gregory Diggs Foundation.
The Foundation.
Just the Foundation?
Shout out to the Foundation.
That might be getting kind of confusing, though, I would think. Because how are you going to know which one it is?
Huh.
It's just the Foundation, I guess. Everybody's going to know.
When you put the definitive article on the front of a word, it means that everything else is second.
Fair enough, yeah.
See?
So, but we can't separate the person and who they are from their politics. Absolutely.
Bernard, who's the current treasurer?
Current treasurer is Walker Stapleton right now. Yep. And he's cousins with George W. Bush.
Okay.
Part of that family.
So you want Walker's old job?
I do. Yeah.
But you don't want him to have a new job?
No. He can. I guess he's been playing a lot of golf over these last 8 years or so, and he's pretty good at that. But
I'd like to meet Mr. Stapleton. You think he'd come on?
I think so. And to be fair, the folks in the office, the treasurer's office, I've been down there. I went down there for about half a day to kind of learn about the job, because of course, if I got my dad, of course, telling me that's one thing I was going to say. If you don't think you're getting enough advice from your parents, run for office, and then you'll be sure to get plenty of advice from your mom and dad. But my dad said, what's the treasurer do? You got to figure that out. And I kind of knew, but I went down. They were terrific. They're really gracious, and I've been keeping in touch with them. Some of his staff, they've been really terrific about answering my questions about
what
things.
Does the treasurer do?
Well, the treasurer sits on, first of all, the treasurer manages the state's money. It's about $7 billion. Should have said this up front. Second thing on my list is the treasurer sits on more than 8 different boards. The most important one is PARA, the Board of Public Employee Retirement Association, but it plays a very important role there. And then as the state's chief financial officer, the treasurer can weigh in favor of or against ballot initiatives like Walker did in 2016 with Amendment 69, our single payer initiative, or against things, or get behind things, or stand on the sidelines. One of the things that has come up in the last week or so is the fact that PARA's basically paying way too much for a lot in fees to Wall Street for private equity investments, and it looks like neither Walker nor folks in the legislature have been really paying attention to this. This could be $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Billion with a B.
In
Yeah.
fees.
In fees. Yep.
Fees with a B.
Fees with an F, but billion with a B.
A B.
Yeah.
$1 billion and no one's watching this?
Well, if they have, they haven't said anything. Like I said, David Sirota wrote a great article, a really fantastic article in Westward. It was published last Thursday about this. Goes into a lot of the detail. The argument is that, well, we pay higher fees, but we're going to get a higher rate of return. But he really fleshed it out and compared the performance Para's investments to other pension funds like Nevada and other places, and they don't do as well, and they pay more in fees.
Bernard, what's your favorite financial statement?
What's my favorite financial statement? It's a good question.
I like the cash flow statement.
The cash flow, you mean in terms of the profit and loss cash flow or balance sheet?
Just show me the money.
So the cash flow.
Show me what I got right now. Where's it at? And what do I need to do with it?
Yeah, you're right. The balance sheet can kind of, probably cash flow is probably mine.
Cash flow's cool.
Because with a balance sheet, you can doctor things and count certain things as assets that aren't really liquid and other stuff.
There's a lot of assumptions in accounting.
Exactly. But cash flow is cash flow. Cash is king. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
Absolutely.
this. I'm going to tell you a joke. You ready?
I'm ready.
My jokes are kind of corny, but I'm going to shoot anyway. Okay?
Right.
Little kid, he walks into his mother's space. Says, "Mom, what's 1 + 1?" And she said, "Go ask your father." So he goes into the dining room and he says, "Dad, what's 1 + 1?" He said, "Go ask your grandfather." His grandfather was an accountant. He said, "Grandpa, what's 1 + 1?" And the accountant said, "What do you want it to be?" I know it's corny, but man, there's a point to that.
Yeah.
It applies.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want it to be?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I didn't say that I should have said is, I've got an undergraduate degree in economics, a graduate degree from MIT in management and finance. And this stuff, just like any other, just like an attorney general, we wouldn't want an attorney general that doesn't have a legal background. We got to have a treasurer with a finance background.
That makes sense.
It gets tricky, and then you can change, depending on the, your assumptions, whether you're going to amortize something or 3 to 5 years or whatever. There's all sorts of stuff that can go on.
So basically, you're saying you know what you're talking about.
I do.
What background does the current treasurer have?
Walker has a background in finance and economics.
Okay.
And he claims at the family businesses. This is where I don't know too much about the businesses he worked at.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the difference is, and this is a word that I keeps coming back in my head, is active and engaged. I don't see him, and you can have him on and he can refute this, but I don't see him as all the time being active and engaged. Because if he were, he would have been catching this stuff that's with Para paying at least $140 million a year in fees to private equity firms. That's it's something worth looking into.
Are you in the primary? Is there another Democratic challenger for this position?
There is.
Who is that?
His name is Dave Young. He is from House District Rep from Greeley.
I haven't heard from Dave.
You haven't?
Where's Dave?
Well, he's not from Denver. So,
but Dave still, it's a statewide position.
I know, yeah.
He's got to check in.
He's got to check in. He's going to have him on.
But we don't reach out.
You don't reach out? He's a very nice guy.
They reach in.
They reach in, yeah.
You reached in.
Wanted to come on. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Dave Young.
Got a good name.
Is he feisty?
Is he feisty?
Can you take him?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think he's too feisty. He's kind of
a wimp.
He's a hell of a.
You saw him. You smack him. You smack him a little bit. You think you're saying Dave's a little wimpy.
I think he's a very nice guy.
But that's what you say.
That's a really nice guy.
That's what you say. He's a nice guy.
You want to sit down and have a beer with the guy? He can tell a good joke. But
listen. Have you all had debates yet?
Oh yeah, we've had. They don't call them debates; they call them forums, but they're kind of the same thing.
Did you smack him down?
I think most of the time, yeah. I mean, because it's, you got one candidate with a background in, who's owned a business, background in finance and economics, and one that doesn't, right?
He don't have the chops like you have them, huh?
No, yeah. I mean, I started a business with my own money and know what it's like to take a risk, and
you've made
make
payroll,
all that kind of stuff. Know how to, my business is over on Cherry Creek North. 2014. University was practically shut down for 11 months, and I had to skip paychecks going, when things get rough. I know what it's like,
and what does Dave do again?
He's in the legislature, the state legislature.
But that's part-time.
Yeah.
So how does he make his living?
Well, he taught school for 23, 24 years.
Oh, he's a teacher.
He was a teacher. Yeah.
Teacher Appreciation Week this week. Shout out to all the teachers.
Yeah, shout out. My mom was a teacher. My fiance is a teacher, and I actually teach math at my business. So it's hard. It is hard work. Most people don't understand. They think like, oh, they get the summers off. My mom always worked her butt off, and it's 60 hours a week. And then you get parents upset about stuff that can ruin your whole day.
So I'd like to see you and Dave together.
You would?
I'd like to see.
Well, there's a bunch of forums. There's about 7 or 8 of them coming up.
I want them to come to the Free Think Zone.
So both of us would be here.
No, we're going to do it in the hood. We'll probably do it at the Cultural Center.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people pay attention to the treasurer's position, but it's important because you're over $6.5 billion.
Yeah, it's close to this. I pulled the report this morning from March. It's getting close to 8, I think. Well, yeah. When I just told my teenage daughter I was running, you know what she said?
What did she tell you?
She said, "Daddy, no offense, but nobody cares."
Now, your daughter's on to something. What's her name?
Her name is Julia.
Julia. Okay.
Yeah.
Julia is on to something because a lot of people have been turned off from politics.
Mm-hmm.
And then, many people vote during the presidential elections.
Yeah.
But then the off presidential elections, there's a slump. People are gearing up for what they say the midterms or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What can the Democratic Party and you running as treasurer do to get voting age individuals like Julia excited about casting a vote?
Good question. What I would say is what I hope to do. I said this at State Assembly as part of my speech. Is I am out to try to get people excited about becoming Democrats, and those people who are Democrats excited about being Democrats, and to pull in. There's so many voters. We got 1.2 million unaffiliated voters, and really in order to get people engaged, they've got to know that their candidates are authentic, that they're not, and by authentic that means they not only stand for things, but in their personal lives as well. I think it's important. What have they done in their lives? And then they're also not, that those candidates aren't taking money, they aren't bought and paid for. They aren't taking money from the health insurance industry or the oil and gas industry or other industries that are going to influence them and influence their decisions.
A lot of people are saying that they don't take corporate money. That seems to be a theme.
Yeah, it's good.
But with campaign limits, how much can be donated to your campaign?
For anybody that's watching, it's $1,150. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money.
Now, how much do you have to raise? Are you projecting? Because that's a part of your field, projections.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you projecting that you have to raise?
Well, our win number is, I think, about 280,000.
Okay.
180,000 voters. We're looking at probably having to raise close to $100,000 to effectively reach all those voters, and that's in the primary, and that's on the low end. We would hope to exceed that, but to get out mailers to folks that probably we're not going to be able to reach with social media and other events, we got to raise probably at least that amount of money.
Are you running against any of your competitors? Do they have deep pockets?
Well, the Republicans do, for sure.
Why do the Republicans have all the money?
Well, that's kind of been their thing. That's what they, been cozy with big business and corporations, right?
Oh. Okay.
And that's what they do. What inspires me is seeing races like Carrie Olson, who ran for school board. I think she was outspent 4-1, and I think if you include the dark money spent against her, she was outspent 8-1. Money matters, but I think having a good message, people know that we're going to fight for them, that we understand their issues. We're going to fight for those issues because we don't take corporate PAC money, and that and in our lives as well, that we set a good example.
Well, I'll tell you this: 30 minutes with Bernie Douthit. Douthit. We got to put the it on the end.
Douthit.
You got to doubt it.
Yeah.
You got to doubt it.
Exactly.
Right on. 30 minutes. Running for state treasurer. And don't forget, this program is powered by the people. We're raising $1 million, but it's not going into a campaign. It's going to go into community.
That's great.
But anyway, the way we do it 7 donations at a time. Everyone, go to brotherjeff.com, hit that button, and make a contribution. Any amount.
$5?
A penny. It doesn't matter. 7 donations, 1 donation at a time. Little train that can. Time is on our side.
Can I make a recommendation real quick?
Yeah, because you know about this.
Save you a little bit of money, maybe?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have a mailing address, but one of the things I've noticed about Act Blue and some of these, Act Blue I think charges 4% fees.
Yeah.
I've got a business where we do credit card transactions. We get charged about 2.5%. So I think they're a little high.
What business are you in?
I have I have 2 businesses. I do finance consulting, but I also have a math tutoring business.
Like Club Z?
Kind of like that. Yeah, it's Mathnasium on 6th Avenue over to 6th and Columbine.
Mathnasium.
Yeah.
Go ahead and plug your business.
Yeah. Mathnasium. We make math make sense.
I never see that.
Yeah. And it's
I like
mathnasium.com/Cherry Creek.
I like that.
But we have about 100 kids, and we have the very well-to-do, but we also try to make room for everybody. We got a fair number of kids on scholarship.
I like it.
It's really important to me to make sure that it's not just all wealthy kids going to Grayland. We want to make sure that what we do is available to as many kids as possible.
We make math make sense.
Yeah.
Man. We used to say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Education is real big for the free thinkers here. How do you make math make sense to those who are not having great outcomes in public education? How do you do it?
At Mathnasium, what we do, started by a math teacher out of LA who got disillusioned with how they were teaching math out there. And what we do is students will come in. I will, or one of my instructors will usually ask them a few questions to get an idea what level they're at. Because I've even had twins come in who were at maybe in the same grade. One of them's up, let's say at 8th grade level, and one of them's at 6th grade level. So we'll do that. Then we give them a written assessment. It's kind of almost like a little bit like healthcare. We diagnose the issues they've got. And then what we put together is what we call a prescriptive learning plan. It's your math prescription that is specific for each student. Each student that comes to us gets a prescriptive learning plan that is unique for them. And they have material put into a 3-ring binder as part of that program that they then come out after we put this together. They then come in 2 to 3 times a week for about an hour each time. They get one-on-one instruction in very small groups. So they might share an instructor with 1 or 2 other kids, but they're getting their questions answered. They're getting their work corrected right away. So
why doesn't that happen in just a regular classroom? Why is that rocket science?
Well, it's frustrating. It's one of my issues. I certainly would like to see it happening more in regular classrooms. I know the Denver Math Fellows program in DPS, which I voted for, is that type of program where they pull out kids and teach them in small groups. But I don't think that is funded broadly across the district to help as many kids as it really would need to.
Well, I'll tell you, look at that 30 minutes clock rolling now.
Yeah.
It's rolling.
So we have another 30 minutes?
No.
Done?
We're not done.
Okay.
Because I've got some more questions.
Oh, good.
We're just warming up, really.
All right.
We've got more to do. You're not a career politician. You said that
I'm not.
we deserve more than a career politician.
We do.
So are you in the term limits or something? What's that?
I do believe in term limits. I think that it's got to be looked at. I think the state legislature actually, you could say, I think 8 years may be a little too short, but I think, seeing somebody like Diana DeGette, and got a lot of respect for her, but 20 years, I think, as Syra was saying, 20 years in a job, that seems like too long.
Syra's giving her a run for her money.
And she is, yeah.
I think she wants to change up that whole career thing. You
And
think she could pull it off?
I think she, yeah.
I think she's the one. If anyone can do it, I think Syra can do it.
She's got the fire, for sure.
And she knows how to raise money.
Yeah, big time. But term limits, I mean, I get back, maybe it's naive, but I like the idea that, the citizen legislator that goes and stays for a little bit, then goes home.
Yeah, go home.
Go back to the farm or whatever you're doing.
So who's your pick for governor?
Ooh, I can't.
Who do you want to work with?
I want to work with anybody who's going to be great for Colorado. Any Democrat, I should
That
say.
sounds like a political
answer. Yeah.
Somebody's got to get off the bus.
You get off the bus?
Yeah, somebody's got to go. Like, Dave's not as tough as you.
Not as tough as me?
Dave
No.
Young, you've been
scrappy.
smacking him.
I'm
You've been
scrappy.
smacking him down at these forums.
Most of the time. Well, he just doesn't have the background for the job. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but he can't do the job.
Yeah, well, it's like, just like would we have a guy who, if we had a doctor running for attorney general, that wouldn't be a good fit. We need a lawyer in that job,
Okay, but so now back to the governor's piece. Mike Johnston,
Mm-hmm.
Donna Lynn. Donna Lynn will be here Friday.
She'll be here Friday.
Mike Johnston has been here.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Kennedy.
Yep, she's been here.
She's been here.
How did that
Jared
go?
Polis
Coming
next week.
Yeah.
Who are your top two?
Who are my top? Should I say? Probably like everybody else. My top two are Carrie and Jared.
Carrie and Jared.
Yeah.
That's what the
That's a
polls
rough one.
say.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right there with what the polls are saying.
Yeah.
So you're not saying anything that people have been surveyed have not said.
Yeah, I mean, I know Mike Johnston personally. He's very charismatic. He's probably the best public speaker in the field.
Yeah, I know Mike I know Mike the best of all of them.
You do. Yeah.
Mike has had an office in the hood since the beginning of his tenure here. So,
He's over next to.
he's in Skyland.
Or he was over because my post office box 33rd in Hudson.
Yeah, he's right there. He's right there.
Yeah,
Well,
we don't have an office, but we have a PO box.
I've got to talk to Jared and I've got to talk to Donna Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Jared said he's going to have a special announcement Monday.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
He said he's coming here to unleash the beast.
That's what he told you?
He's going to smack some. He's got to bring hot grits here.
He's going to something serious.
But you're saying you wouldn't mind working with any of them?
No, I mean Donna's got a lot of experience in healthcare. One conversation we had, a quick conversation, she said she doesn't believe in single payer, which for me is kind of a non-starter there, because I think that we had 40 years to try to make multi-payer work in this country, and you know what? It didn't work. So
single payer is a big deal for you.
Yeah.
So that might push Donna off the boat for you. I mean,
probably.
because healthcare is her background.
I know. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right.
But
now,
I don't want to Donna's voters. There we go. I just lost all Donna's voters.
Donna, I don't like you, but I like your voters.
She seems
your
like
voters are kind of cute.
But I do think my dad actually is a doctor, and he finally I got him to come around and believe in single payer. But he forever has told me that it's the patient's fault, and he's finally backed off of that when he sees friends as actually the woman who's cut his hair. This is my dad, who's a retired doctor. I think she's going to pass away of breast cancer because she did not have health insurance.
Health insurance
she couldn't
is a big
afford
deal.
it. She couldn't afford it. She didn't. She ended up having breast cancer. She didn't go in early enough, get it detected early enough, and it's probably fatal. And I think I feel like we are at a turning point when he was somebody like, because he's a Democrat, but he's a pretty conservative guy. When he sees that happening, he knows we've got a real problem.
Okay. So experience matters more than a career politician. You don't like the big money that's in politics. I want to talk about an idea that I haven't heard anyone talk about, but I think is amazing. A public bank.
It is amazing.
I have not. I've heard a lot.
This?
I have not heard anyone step up and say, I think that Colorado should have a bank that's owned by the public that doesn't compete on a national level with all these other banks, but can use their resources to back up student education and mortgages. They're not in the business to do predatory loans and to foreclose on people's houses. I haven't heard anybody say that, Bernard.
Well, I was the first candidate to talk about this. It's an issue that's I'm passionate about. So just to kind of public banking 101 to explain it to folks. Right now, what we do with our money at the state level and even at the county level, even school boards, is we take our money. It's usually deposited with big banks, big Wall Street banks like Wells Fargo or Chase or J.P. Morgan. They pay us 1.1, 1.2% on that money. They then take that money, put that money to work for them, but they'll invest it over in the case of Wells Fargo, Dakota Access Pipeline, or they've loaned more than $400 million to the gun industry since 2012. And so they take our money, they put it to work to them. If we were to create public banking, a lot of people haven't heard of it because there's only one state that has one. Michigan, though, just passed a bill about 2 months ago to start one, but North Dakota's had one for 95 years. What they did, their farmers revolted because they were getting pushed around by bankers out of Chicago and Minneapolis. They took over the state government and they decided that what they do is they take all their taxes and fees and they put them in, they use those as deposits and then use those as capital and to make loans to, and then the three areas they concentrate on are loans to small business, and we're talking real small businesses, loans to bring down the cost of student loans from, let's say, 7 or 8% to 3 or 4%, and then infrastructure loans for projects, like transportation projects here in Denver. And the other key thing I should mention, if we have any bankers watching, is a public bank wouldn't displace local banks like First Bank or credit unions. In fact, a public bank would be a source of capital partnering with these local banks to say go in. Let's say we take, one of the Go Bond initiatives is, let's say, $50 million to fix up Colfax. Well, the public bank could go in, Bank of Colorado put in $25 million on that, and First Bank could put in $25 million. And so the First Bank is basically getting a partner to share the risk on a deal, and they're also likely getting the ability to participate in larger loan deals because they basically kind of have a big brother helping them out.
Man, I can
go
ahead. Yeah.
And because there's a bunch of not only can we bring down the cost of student loans, municipal loans, and infrastructure loans, we could also redirect money into either create, if in fact we continue to see this bad behavior, redlining, discriminatory practices like Wells Fargo and other banks have done, we could either direct money directly into a mortgage loan program, or kind of throw our weight around a little bit and say, hey, guess what? Oh, Bank A, you guys are good citizens. We see you've been a good corporate citizen and haven't done any redlining, versus Bank B, you're not acting so well.
30 minutes with Bernard Douthit.
Yeah, you're gonna doubt it.
You're gonna doubt it.
So it's and because it's not, the profits would make money, but the profits are going to come back to the state treasury.
What does Dave think about this idea?
He's gotten on board.
Oh, you dragged him on board.
Yeah,
you pulled him out the water.
Pulled him out of the water. He got on board with me. Yep.
Good job. Good. That's what a good ideal does.
And I like to think that that's what good campaigns are about ideas.
Bring a good idea.
Yeah.
Because look, Colorado takes all of this money and invests it and puts it in a bank at 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Why not put it in its own bank?
Yeah, I mean, Denver's
why not invest its own money like
Exactly.
they're putting $1 billion investments in the para insurance money? Just imagine what they could do if they invested their own money.
Well, I was just thinking that Para's been spending over $130 million a year just on fees to Wall Street, to private equity firms. If they took, let's say, they shave those down, this is what I would hope to do, and put $50 million of that money into a public bank, start small, be all sorts of great things we could do with it. And the other thing I should mention is in Germany, And not only has this been going on in North Dakota for 95 years, in Germany, 40%, almost half of the banking in Germany is done through these public banks they're called Sparkassen. And they have, who does not have a strong, Germany's got a super strong economy. They can't hire fast enough to keep up with their growth.
Man, this has been a great conversation.
And well, thank you. I think so too.
I think that you are super qualified. You say you're qualified, experienced, and independent. That might mean that the bigwigs in the Democratic Party aren't too much in your corner.
No. I don't think so. Well, some of them are. I don't want to hurt.
You don't want to offend them. Some of them are cute too.
Well, no. The party. Cyrus said this. I mean, there are certainly some. What did she say? Institutional roadblocks in certain places.
But you can get over them.
A little bit of we forgot to invite you kind of stuff. Going on. But I'm a big fan of Morgan Carroll, our party.
Morgan has been here.
Morgan is fantastic.
I like Morgan.
Yeah, I like Morgan a lot too. And I think she's working very hard to make the party as fair as possible and to move it in the right direction.
Have you reached out to the African American Initiative of Colorado Democrats?
I have not. I did go to I have been, and we should talk about that. I did go to the Colorado Black Women for Political Action.
Helency will be here tomorrow.
She will.
She's the president of the Colorado Black Women.
Well, you should. Action. I mean, one of the things Derek and I were talking about this. I run a math tutoring business that tries to, as much as possible to offer our services across the board to everybody in the community. I've been involved in the community for doing all sorts of different stuff. Very involved in keeping my public school public and not going charter. And then I, of course, have gotten behind public banking. And I got the word that, and hopefully they'll stand on the sidelines. And they don't know me. I understand that. It's that relationships are important. But I got word that they weren't going to endorse me, so I was a little disappointed.
Okay, they're going to endorse Dave.
I don't know.
Well, there's only two.
Well, they could sit it out until the primary's over.
You should send them a memo and say you've been smacking Dave around in these forums, and just send them some tape, send them some footage. That's what professional athletes do. They send the footage. They send the tape. Send them some tape.
A little bit of tape, yeah.
Send them some tape. Say, look, I've been smacking this guy around like a wet towel. Well, I mean, I dragged him out the water with this public banking thing. I've been to the luncheon.
Yeah.
You got okay.
Well, he likes to talk about his time in the legislature on the Joint Budget Committee, but what I said at kind of the last time we were together in Boulder is I said, he's on the Joint Budget Committee, but we got teachers walking out, we got fire stations shutting down.
Wow. And
we got para. Total mess.
You can join the African American Initiative of Colorado Dems.
I need to do that. I need to do that.
She's right there, and they're going to be at the Cultural Center this month. We'll send you an invite.
We should. Derek and I were talking. It's I am long overdue. I mean, I'm a Colorado native, Denver native, and It's the one thing I've been thinking about though is I haven't wanted to go into because I know, Pat Moreland.
Pat Moreland.
Yeah. She's one of the
big people.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's in she goes to Shorter AME. She's a precinct committee captain.
Okay. Yeah.
And she was saying, you should go to Shorter AME. I have met Timothy Tyler, but I also don't want to go in.
That's the bishop.
Yeah. I don't want to go in with the idea anybody thinking that it's just what did Cyrus say? That it's just one night stand. I'm wanting to.
Okay.
I want something that's lasting relationship, and I'm overdue. I need to. My fiance, she teaches at East, and she said to me a couple months ago, you never been to a black church? I did go to one for Greg Diggs' funeral, Dr. Diggs' funeral.
You went to Shorter.
Yeah.
AME.
And I tell you what, I was in tears. Did you go?
I wasn't out of town.
No, but it was.
But I have been in a black church.
I bet. I don't go to church that often, but she said to me, this is my girlfriend, she's saying, because she teaches at East High School, which is very diverse, and she said, what are you doing? You need to, that's embarrassing. You haven't been, but we need to build, in order to win, we need to build a diverse coalition that is lasting, that is not just going to get things done like public banking, that's going to get rid of this kind of predatory lending.
Well,
make real
Portia
change.
said that the African American Initiative of Colorado Democrats is going to have a special guest at the Cultural Center on the 22nd from 6:30 to 8:30. You might want to swing by there. Brother Jeff's Cultural Center is right down the street. All right.
With Derek, you taking that down?
Put that in your calendar.
I will be. I'm not the special guest.
You could be.
I could be. Hopefully, I can.
You probably.
Well, overdue, but better late than never. I feel like, but I've been thinking about this a lot, and I want to make sure that folks know that I'm not, that it's long term. I want a long-term relationship.
Well, I'll tell you this. I want to certainly thank you for being here. 7 donations. That's what we do every day. 7 donations. And I usually don't say names, but I do want to thank a few people. Ariel Smith. Thank you so much. Justine Taylor. Thank you. Allison Larson. Right on. Syra Rao.
Syra Rao. Pow.
Pow. She's in the book now.
All right.
It's a part of the honor roll. The Warriors Wrestling, and Alan Belliston, one of the white allies. I mean, there are people of all backgrounds that watch this. We're all tight. They're tight.
It's a great show.
And he's constantly giving. So I want to say thank you. Here's your Black Community of Colorado card. Look, make a donation. You can have your Black Community of Colorado card. Take that to the Black church with you.
This will get me in.
That'll get you in. But you might not even have that and still could get in. But you
know.
can certainly come on into the African American Initiative of Colorado Democrats with or without the card. But I'm going to give you almost the last words. What would you like to say, Bernard?
Well, I think as treasurer, what I want to do is bring about equity. We don't have it, like Sarah was saying. We got 1% owning, more than 99%. All the, just a staggering inequality in wealth, income, and in education. And there are things, especially like public banking, that I will make happen as quickly as possible, that I think could be instrumental in building better, stronger communities and pushing back on things like gentrification and making sure that everybody, regardless of race, gender, religion, orientation, has access to capital. That's really what democracy is about. But in order to get there, we need to elect true blue Democrats, and so I have to raise a lot of money, and it's hard to. I can't ask. There aren't very few people I can go ask for $250 or $500. So I have to ask a lot of people for a little bit of money. But just like you, every little bit helps. $5, $10.
The Colorado Supreme Court affirms the ballot language for payday lending rate cap initiative. The payday lenders have gotten a little out of control, and with the election of 45, they ran back out the gates again. What do you think about these payday lenders and all of that predatory lending that's happening? Well,
you showed me that article today, and it's alarming. I didn't know, and I think I'm pretty well informed, that I thought the cap was at 36%, but it's not, right? It's higher than that. All this initiative wants to do is bring a interest rate cap to 36%. And what I would like certainly to do is to find other ways to get people access to capital, because these are, like that article mentions, it's obvious that these industries are preying on the people that can least afford to pay these types of interest rates.
Well, I'll tell you this,
right?
You're a great guy. I'm sure Dave is a great guy. Dave Young. The Democrats look like they've got a strong field, generating a little bit of interest with some new blood and some old blood. That's no new blood, no blood. But the fight is on.
We want to bring people back into to participate. I know a lot of people are disillusioned, and they've got good reason to be. And they're fed up. But I am fighting like hell to make sure that democracy works. And I know we got a lot of great Democrats across the state, like Syra and others, that are doing the same thing. And we're all,
I'm bringing on a black Republican next week. Casper is coming.
Oh.
I go on his show. He's my buddy.
Casper,
like Casper the Ghost?
Casper Stockham.
Casper believes in universal health care.
He does.
Casper believes in universal health care.
He's smart. It's the lowest cost. Republicans should get behind it. It's the lowest cost option. Makes the most financial sense.
Well, I'm going to talk with Casper next week and see what he's bringing to the table. Donna Lynn this Thursday. Halisi Vincent tomorrow with the head of the Colorado Black Women for Political Action. We're getting it in.
It's a star-studded list, man.
It's
big time.
It's on.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. You want to tell everybody how they can reach you, how they can touch base with you, where your website is?
Our website, it's berniefortreasurer.com, or you can, Bernie for Colorado also works. And you could, maybe the best way to find me, even though I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook, is on Facebook. I have a web page there as well. You can sign up, like the page, and I do try to be as accessible as possible. People got questions, they can hit me up.
Well, don't forget, everybody, Black Dollar Saturdays this Saturday. Bring a table set up. It's free. That's what we do at Brother Jeff's Cultural Center. I won't be there all day because I will be at the Our Voices, Our Schools Black Empowerment Conference. I'm hoping that you all have signed up. 300 black parents talking about education at Shorter AME Church this Saturday. Now, that's a hint.
Is that a hint?
That's a hint. If I were some of you folks, I'd get over there and see what those black parents are talking about, or go by Black Dollar Saturdays. So many ways to get involved, but if you go down swinging.
Absolutely.
Because you just might score a knockout.
Swinging for the fences, man.
Rumble, young man, rumble. Rumble, young man, and woman rumble. Derek, you can hit the off button. I'm going to see if you see that finish button. He hit it with his thumb, and then he hit it with his finger, and let's see how he...